What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Old Gang podcast. I am, of course, your host, Evan Miller, and today, for the final episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, I am joined by Aiden Quinn.
Hello, thank you for having me back on.
Excited to have you back this one last time for Obi-Wan, Aiden. It's going to be a very, very spicy conversation because we of course have T. Hetty on the phone talking about this.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, that's all you got to know. Is it real positivity, or is it just a false masculine season? We'll find out soon. Isn't that right, Justin?
Yeah. I'm so stoked to be talking about this episode because it just brought me back to being a little kid. I'm so stoked.
And talk about this episode we will, because of course this is the Good Old Gang podcast, and you can get it on youtube.com by searching Good Old Gang podcast, and we'll be right there for you. This is the Good Old Gang podcast, the show where a handful of buds get together to talk about some of the things we love in the world of entertainment, including the latest in Star Wars, Marvel, and more. In this episode, we're discussing the final 6th episode of the Obi-Wan Kenobi quote-unquote limited series on Disney+. Like, I am kind of 50-50 right now. If they're going to do a season 2, I kind of feel like it's possible, but I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that towards the end, but it's not that important right now. I want to start. I feel like I don't really do this too often, and I feel like with this episode, it's justified. I'm going to start with Tom. Let's hear your thoughts on this final episode, Tom.
So do you want thoughts of the final episode or the season?
Let's do final episode, and at the end of the podcast episode, we'll all talk about our thoughts on the series as a whole. Okay.
All right. So the best way I can put this is a good episode to a story I didn't like, if that makes any sense. Like, it works for what this is, but I don't like this story. I am of the camp that Obi should have never left, should have never met Vader, and never met Leia or anything like that. But this is the story that this is, and it's good, but I'm not a fan of the story that's been shown. Was it cool moments? Yes, but moments don't make up for a full episode, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, this episode is good, but for a series, it's not my cup of tea, if I'm just being honest.
I mean, that's fair, I guess. I don't know. We're gonna get into it, but that was a fair opening statement for sure, Tom. Justin, what do you think of the episode?
Oh, I am in total disagreement. I mean, putting fanboy aside, I genuinely think this was like a 9 or 10 out of 10 episode. I think the writing in this episode in particular was some of the best writing that we've seen so far, maybe from any Disney Plus Star Wars series, in terms of just like writing, because it really hit on all the themes and thematic ideas that embodies Obi-Wan, embodies the Jedi, and embodies Star Wars in general. A lot of talk about redemption and a lot of talk about finding hope even in the darkest places. And I think for that reason alone, this was a brilliant episode. I genuinely loved every single thing about it. It just brought me back, man. It was hard. It's hard to really, talk about it without just fanboying, but I genuinely thought it was near perfection.
Aiden Quinn, what'd you think?
I agree with Justin 100%. This was an amazing episode. Easily a 9 episode. I mean, I do agree with Tom, like we talked about last week with the whole Reva and Luke storyline. It could have been avoided, but I think what they did with it was all right. And I think it gave Reva a good conclusion at the end of it. And I think, as for Obi-Wan himself, I think they just gave him a great ending to the show. And I think all of the character development they gave him in the show really adds another layer to what we see with Ben Kenobi in New Hope. Which makes me want to rewatch it after this. just to see if some of those lines hit harder. But overall, it was just an amazing episode.
I am in complete and total agreement with Justin and Aiden here. Tom, I think, and I'll let you talk about this when I'm done, but like I think your problem is with this episode that you're just having trouble like separating it from your thoughts on the series as a whole. Like what, I don't know, like as a whole, this episode was like almost peak Star Wars for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like I agree, I would also
100%,
give it
100%.
a 9 out of 10 at least. And Aiden, you hit it right on the money. Like this episode did exactly what I wanted this whole series to do. It justified its existence for me. Like I wanted this show to make me care more about A New Hope. I said this in an episode in the past. I wanted it to make me care more about Obi-Wan's sacrifice in A New Hope. And when I go back to revisit A New Hope, as I plan to do now since the series has ended, I know for a fact that I'm going to feel a lot more emotion when that scene comes, and just like throughout that entire film, because I said it before, I have never really felt any emotion when watching A New Hope, especially during especially during the scene where Obi-Wan makes a sacrifice. Like it just hasn't really meant anything to me, even with the prequels, even with Clone Wars. There's just always been something missing there for me, and I think this show successfully like filled that in for me, like it like a puzzle piece. Like it totally made it, I know for a fact I'm gonna feel something next time I watch that scene in A New Hope, and it's all thanks to this. It's all thanks to this show. It's not thanks to anything else really. Like the prequels add a whole lot of substance to that scene, but this show just amplified that for me, and I just loved everything it did, especially in this episode and the last episode, too. Like this episode and last episode saved the show for me. At the end of episode 4, I did not think this would be a show that I would ever want to revisit or like even think about really, but like it saved for me. Like it's definitely something that I'm like really happy to say that and proud to say that like I love. Like I don't know, like it was just really, it was really great. It was great. So yeah, I don't know. Like Tom, do you have a response to this? Let's get a little debate here going, I guess. What do you think about everything the three of us just said?
So I'll say something that like a reply to what you said with like the puzzle piece thing, because I find it funny that in a way I'm the opposite, where it's like this is a puzzle piece of a different puzzle being put in a spot where it doesn't need to be, if that makes sense. Like you were saying something was always missing there. To me, I don't think anything ever was, and that this is just a different piece of a different puzzle being put down there and now being part of a bigger picture, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah, it makes sense, but like sure, there's an argument that can be made and that you've made multiple times that like this show didn't need to happen, but like since it did happen, like you got to appreciate like the genuine like care that they put in to like really make it feel justified and important to the overall Skywalker saga and like the story from here. All right, Tom, what
I just don't feel that. I don't know, man. Just this doesn't feel like this was ever part of the vision. It feels like it was made to sell the Obi-Wan Darth Vader fight and to have Obi-Wan go on a big adventure.
I mean, to be fair, it did that, and it did those things very well. Like, I don't know, Aiden and Justin, what do you guys think about this? Either of you can jump in. Feel free.
You don't think like this added like a whole nother layer to Obi-Wan as a whole? Like I feel like this is something he needed, because you went from we saw him in the original trilogy, and there's not much to him. You're not attached to him at all. And then you see him in the prequels, you obviously see a whole nother layer. And then, there's still that gap between the prequels and the original trilogy. I feel like this show was needed to really show how Obi-Wan handled that loss of Anakin. And I feel like they did that perfectly. They didn't in the first 5 episodes, but in the finale, they perfectly nailed it. And I feel like it was very much needed.
if I'm being totally honest, the prequels, in my opinion, kind of made Obi-Wan look like a dick. Like, I feel
wasn't
like
that all Jedi?
Right.
it was, but like
Yeah,
Obi-Wan,
yeah.
like Obi-Wan is different than that. Like he viewed Anakin as his brother. He says it himself.
Yeah,
But like still, he just
yeah.
acts kind of like a dick in all three of those movies to Anakin.
Then
And like
again-
here, you see he regrets that. And like he genuinely tries to get his brother back. And at the end of this episode, at the end of their fight, when like he sees that like he can't do that, and Vader says to him that Vader says to Obi-Wan that like Obi-Wan didn't kill Anakin, that he did. Like it was pretty powerful. It was one of several powerful moments in this episode, in my opinion. And I think it was just handled really well. And it just gave Obi-Wan like a ton of new layers, in my opinion, that really just like make his character like mean a lot more to me moving forward in A New Hope. And just like, even in like going back to Rebels, I guess, like all the stuff there, but especially in A New Hope, just like this show, like when I revisit Star Wars stuff that Obi-Wan is in from now on, I'm going to think about the stuff in this show, and it's going to like add a lot for me. If that makes sense, I guess. Like Justin, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, it's think about the end of episode 3, right, where you have this epic fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Obi-Wan is like completely lost. He's in the middle of Tatooine, like that's like one of the last shots of the movie, right? And I think this series really did a great job of bridging the gap between episode 3 and episode 4, because I mean the Obi-Wan we see in episode 4 is pretty different from the one we see in episode 3, right? Like one that lost all hope, and then the other one is getting his hope back, and has a lot of his hope there, right? And I think this really did a well job of bridging that gap. I mean, if we talk about the entirety of the series, I think it did have its low points, but I think the high points massively make up for any low points. I mean, it's hard for me to say that, episode 5 and 6 were not needed. I mean, those two were some of the best. I mean, just some of the best Star Wars ever. Period. I mean, it's just incredible all the way around. I mean, also seeing just Hayden and Ian back, I mean, it just means something, man, So I think those last 2 episodes really did sell why this series was needed. I think if someone made the argument that this should have been a movie and not a series, I'd probably tend to agree with that. I mean, if we had, I'm looking back at the episode count, and I'm just thinking about each episode. I think episode 1 was really good. 2 was good. 3 was good. 4 was really, really the low point for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get rid of 4 and you just make it 1, 2, 3, and then 5, 6, I think the show is totally different, 100% different. And I think the reception towards the show would be so much more positive.
I do agree with you there. I think that if this was a movie instead of a show, I feel like it would have a lot less of the problems that we've noticed. I think it would have felt a lot more concise and a lot more focused. And like there just would have been a lot less lulls and a lot more highs consecutively. Like you said, everyone knows how we felt about episode 4. None of us liked it. But episode 1 was pretty great. Episode 2 was a little less than episode 1. Episode 3 was great. Episode 4 was just plain bad, and episode 5 and 6 just like brought it home. They were both spectacular.
Both near perfect, pretty much.
Seriously,
both near perfect episodes, 5 and 6. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys watch Stranger Things as well, but it's got that Stranger Things season 2 problem, where like the season as a whole is really, really good, but you have that one episode, the Elle episode where she meets 8.
Her sister.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That episode 4 is basically that. Like
wait, if you literally take that episode out, the season goes from like an 8 or 7 to like a 9, 10. It's just that one episode that really, really brings it down, and and really just doesn't add anything. It kind of takes away from it.
I just want to say, like, in just like slight just like a little thing there, like even though none of us really liked episode 4, there were things in it that we did like there were still things there were even at the show's lowest points, there were things that you could still find a way to appreciate, and I felt that I feel like that's important.
Yeah, I mean, but I think like in the moment it's good, but the fact that none of these things really come back in a thematic way. I mean, like, the tomb was kind of glossed over,
Right.
I mean, I thought that would have a bigger impact.
That should have been the main focus of that episode.
Right.
Or a
I
lot
think
more focus should have
That felt
gone
like
into it.
that felt like fan service after, and like pretty much
It
that's
did.
what it felt like at that point, because they never touched on it again. It just felt like they were just doing it just to be like, oh, looks cool, but
'Cause I
then
think-
never touch up on it.
Yeah, I think the possibility of it being like this massive thing where it's like, oh, the Jedi's planning, the Empire is planning on either A, trying to bring back these Jedi for some evil reason, or just for collection purposes. It adds a whole new layer of depth, right? I mean, even if Vader just had a dialogue, or Vader had a scene where he's in that tomb and he's either, like talking to someone or thinking about like, this is his accomplishment and this is what the cost of saving Padme was, or becoming Vader. I think something like that would totally enhance it, but I don't know, it just felt kind of thrown in. I don't know, could also just be a time restraint, but I don't know.
I agree. And I don't know, like it just like it kind of confuses me, like how, especially in this episode, like it felt like no time was wasted. Like everything in this last episode felt extremely like important, even the stuff on Tatooine, which I don't know, why don't we just, where do you guys think we should start? Like we could start from anywhere, honestly. Like Aiden, what was your favorite part of this episode?
Favorite part of this episode. First of all, Obi saying hello there. I just love that at the end. I love the perfect ending, to be honest.
He said the thing.
Oh yeah,
it was great.
I mean,
it was glorious. Tom, you got to tell me you at least like that. You got to tell me you at least like that, Tom.
No.
Come on.
Because listen,
you're telling me you didn't squeal like a little fangirl when I said that? Come on.
I
No,
did
Tom
like a
actually
little
did
liar,
that.
bro.
You are lying through your
Tom's
teeth
in
right
denial.
now.
No,
He's in
I
denial.
listen. I'm gonna say, because we're gonna talk about scenes of the episodes. I was speaking with Evan about it like 2 minutes before we started. The moment like I had like a squeal of like "yoo" was when Palpy came up.
Yes. Yeah.
But even then, it was for a few seconds, and I was just like "woo."
Tom's
I mean, like,
squealed when the
even
episode
though it was
rolled.
only a few seconds, it wasn't wasted. Like, that was a scene that mattered. Like, I feel like that's a scene, like it just added a layer to Darth Vader that we didn't have before. Like, in that moment, like, Palpatine knew that Vader was, like, almost compromised due to, like, his confrontation with Obi-Wan. So, like, he had to, like, nip that shit in the bud, like, real quick. And, like, you could just show how, you could just see how manipulative he was to Vader in that moment. Like, in that moment, like, Vader felt, you could tell he felt like kind of like the pull of Anakin for like a split second, but like the Emperor just like made sure like that was just like cut off completely. Like I feel like that just like adds so much to that scene. And I was, like Tom said when we were talking about it, I just like I got hyped in that moment when they played the Imperial March. Like, I just feel like the music was so on point this episode.
Yeah.
Like, we got the Imperial March in that scene. We got Leia's theme during the goodbye scene. Just everything was so great music wise in this episode. Like, they killed it. And especially that scene, I got chills when the Imperial March popped on and when we saw Vader talking with Palpatine. Justin, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, seeing Palpatine again, man, it was so good. I mean, one of my friends at work, he joked, he was like, the more Ian McDermott shows up, the less makeup he needs, just because he's getting naturally older.
That's true.
But
I didn't really notice a lot of makeup there.
Yeah, he's just getting old, man. But I thought it was great, man. I mean, seeing Palpatine and Vader and really just makes me want a Vader series. I mean, the Marvel comic run was actually pretty good, from what I remember. And if they adapt any of that in some certain way, I mean, I'd totally be content with that.
I mean, a lot of fans are like clamoring for like a Dr. Aphra?
Dr. Aphra, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are clamoring for that. I feel like we could get that, and Vader could be a a big part of that. But like
I can
also
see it.
we
I can
got
see it.
Hayden back. Hayden's back for Ahsoka. So like I feel like it's not too far-fetched to say that like we could see a Vader show, which
Oh,
would
yeah.
be
We
great.
should
I
see a
mean, Hayden
Vader movie.
wants-
I'd like a movie. I'd really.
I
want
would like a
with
Vader movie as well.
It just feels like the series. It just brings in the most money because they do the weekly episode and it builds up the hype. So it it winds up selling more. But I don't know. I really like I would really want a Vader movie in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel that. Like I'd be good with either a movie or a show. Like I would prefer a movie,
Something,
but
yeah.
like just anything would be great. Like I'm just grateful we got this show, like in the whatever form we got it, So like anything with Vader would be awesome. Just like another thing I want to say real quick, just about just Hayden Christensen being like so involved in this show and hopefully as involved in Ahsoka to a degree. I just like loved during the fight, like at the end of it, when half of his mask was cut off and you saw Hayden and like you heard Hayden's voice, but like half of it was like James Earl Jones. I thought that was so fucking cool. Just like
I mean,
that's
is
something I've
top
always
5
wanted
Star
to do.
Wars for me. That
Yeah,
was
like
top 5 Star Wars, 100%.
Yeah.
That was
it was
so
it was
good.
it was incredible. Like
Oh, yeah.
It was the best scene of the episode.
it totally was, like by far. But like
Yeah.
I feel like that's like I don't know. That's just something I've always wanted to see, and it was like they handled it perfectly, and like it sounded so sick. It was like it was sad too. Like it was like tugging on my heartstrings and shit. Like yeah, I felt like Anakin. I felt Vader's pain in that moment. Like it was good shit. It was top tier Star Wars for me. The whole thing. I don't know, like who wants to say, let's just like talk about the fight, I guess. Like that was the biggest part of this episode. So let's just get into it. I guess whoever wants to start, hop on.
It was good.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
the choreography in some places weren't as tight as others.
Yeah.
But when the fight was really getting going, in its best moments, it was jaw dropping. It had some moments that was a little like lackluster and kind of just odd. I mean, I guess that's also the problem with just actors playing as Vader. I mean, Vader, the whole suit is so probably heavy and janky to work with. So
Right.
because I saw people complaining like, oh, Vader's so slow, like look at Fallen Order and look at all these other things. I mean, yeah, but that's also a different medium. It's hard to be practical about it with such a heavy suit of armor, right? But,
Right.
I thought in its best moments it was like akin to the prequels. I mean, I just thought it was tight. Some moments not as good, but I thought it was overall really good. It was really good.
Yeah, just like the moment where like towards the end of it, like when Obi-Wan just like raised all the rocks. And he was just like hurling those with the Force at Vader. Yeah, Aiden, what'd you think?
I thought for one, I felt like just the visuals were stunning in that fight. It just felt it was just so like appealing to the eye, to be honest. For one, and I just felt like just the emotion and everything. I felt like it was perfect. I mean, I do agree with Justin. Some of the choreography is definitely not like totally on point, but I feel like I felt like it was amazing for what it was. Like we've seen, this is our 4th fight with Vader and Obi, if I'm correct.
Like in all of Star Wars?
Like
Or-
yeah, in all of Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be the 4th.
If you consider
right?
Anakin, yeah, 4th.
Or
Yeah.
Oh,
not
okay.
not like in total, like not in order, but like I think like
Yeah, not in
I think
order
you're
at all.
right.
No. Yeah, just in total.
Yeah, episode 3. I'm
Yeah.
just Revenge of the Sith, and then this one.
Two
and then
and
episode-
Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, 4.
And then
4. That's right.
Yeah,
I forgot
4,
about that
yeah.
one. Yeah. I mean, would that
New Hope.
really consider a fight? He's kind of running the whole time.
not really a fight, but I guess like
Yeah.
some sort of
Conflict.
more of a confrontation.
Nah,
Yeah.
I'd it was a confrontation.
Yeah, I'd give it.
Yeah.
I'd give it to him.
Confrontation. This one, I mean, this wasn't Revenge of the Sith level, but it was still really good. Way better than the 3rd episode of the show. Like I just felt like it was very well done.
Yeah.
Totally. It delivered in every aspect that I thought that kind of failed. Like, it was good. And like, obviously Obi-Wan had a lot more growing to do and getting back with the Force, but like, I feel like that could have been better in episode 3, but like,
Yeah, no, there was definitely a lot of
chef's
flaws
kiss
in
to
the
this
third one.
chef's kiss to this final fight. Absolutely incredible. Tom, I want you to elaborate a little bit on your thoughts on this fight. All right, let's hear it.
For the fight,
Yeah.
it was just listen. I don't like that it happened, but it was good. Choreo was good for this story. The ending part with him bashing his control box and so cleaving his helmet in two was really good to see.
Cool.
You know what I mean? Like, it was good. I'd say it's a lower level prequel fight if I were to rank it. You know what I mean?
Really, a lower level?
Like, you get the top two, which can't be beat, Duel in episode 3's Obi and Annie. You get stuff like Count Dooku's episode 3, which I would say is third place.
You would say,
And then probably put it around there, if not tie it with Yoda and Dooku, because I still think Mace versus Palp is still the worst one of the prequels. But then again, the prequels are, they got good stuff. So like saying it's a lower level doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's bad at all.
I know what you mean. I just don't know if I
it would
agree.
be like a
and that's
lower
okay.
level of the prequel ones.
All right. Yeah. That's
where
fair.
does Obi, Qui-Gon, and Maul fit in there?
That's one of the top two.
Oh, you said
What about
Prequels top two.
episode 6, Luke versus Vader? Where does that one go?
Yeah, I was gonna say, that might be top.
That's
That
the
might
best original
be-
trilogy fight. It's the top 3,
Original
or if not the
trilogy,
second best
okay.
fight of
Yeah.
Okay.
That
film.
might
All right, so
be
you're ranking.
film-wise.
You're just doing prequels.
Prequels for
Prequel,
that,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just
Okay, yeah.
prequels. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was. If we're talking about prequel stuff, I mean, any Obi-Wan cannot be beaten. Maul is probably better than this. I enjoyed this more than the Dooku fight, maybe.
I just don't think we've ever seen
There's
the
still
Force.
so much more
Which
emotion.
Dooku fight?
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen the Force quite used in a fight before, like we've seen
Right.
it in this fight.
Right.
Like,
That's
it
why
was
I loved it.
different.
Nothing from Obi-Wan. Nothing
Yeah.
from Obi-Wan like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, that's where I'm coming from, where I think this is definitely one of the best fights in all of Star Wars. Just the way the Force was used as a weapon. Like,
Yeah.
usually we haven't really seen that before. So
Usually it's just sabers until someone.
I think
chops the
Reva
arm
versus
off.
Wade might be the best fight of Obi-Wan.
Okay.
wait,
All right.
reverse
All
who?
right, Tom.
Dude, Wade solos. I don't know
Wade
how
was
he
the
does
best
it.
Jesus,
character.
I keep forgetting
They
about
nerfed him
Wade, and
so
I keep
hard,
like
man.
hitting myself every time I forget about Wade, the best character, bro.
They nerfed him so
Now,
hard.
you know who was great in this episode? And I guess I'll just say, like, my one problem that I had with this fight was how they kept like cutting back and forth with it. And I knew they would do something like this. I thought it would be with like Fifth Brother, but he was shafted again this episode.
Mhm.
But like how they kept cutting back and forth with this and Reva on Tatooine. Like, it's not that I thought I thought all of that was good, to be honest. Like, I didn't think it was bad. I actually thought it was great. It was just like far less interesting, obviously, far less interesting and incredible than what we were seeing in this fight between Darth and Obi-Wan. Like,
It was it was definitely so anticlimactic.
yeah, I mean, like,
It was the
it
lowest
was
stakes
great.
There's no stakes. There's no
It was
stakes.
It
great.
didn't matter.
It was great seeing Reva go up against Beru. Like, Beru was a fucking badass.
Mhm.
But like, and I'm totally kidding about that. Like, I was kind of like thrown off by how much of a badass Beru was. But like,
Are Owen and Beru Inquisitor level?
They might be, honestly. Like, well,
I
like,
mean,
granted,
they're-
she was wounded. She was wounded.
She was
Like,
stabbed.
No, shit. By
Shit.
the time she got to Tatooine, she was fine.
her insides were like scattered all over the place, but like
Yeah,
somehow she's still
she
able
was
to
fine.
walk.
She used the medical
But, like,
facility on the ship.
yeah.
She's fine.
But
Two
like,
stomachs.
yeah,
True, yeah.
I just like,
we'll just throw that out there.
Yeah.
Use the chug jug.
You're
She's
probably
fine.
right. You're probably right. Like, I don't know. I guess like I guess Qui-Gon just didn't have the two stomachs, you know. Like,
Right.
he wasn't as lucky.
Qui-Gon.
Reva went to the
Uh,
Fortnite event and got a chug jug, came back. That's why she was fine.
Yeah, she met Travis Scott. I gotta be honest, I hate saying this, and I don't think I would ever say this, but I love the Reva stuff.
I did too in this episode. I thought it was great.
Really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I think the entire idea of like her losing herself and becoming just like Vader and about to kill a kid. I thought that was really, really well done.
I agree.
Flash, you know.
Justin, you weren't here last week when we talked about this, but like I called
we
this
were
exactly
definitely
like
negative.
we were definitely
negative about that storyline.
I just want to pat myself on the back though. I was right on the money with
did you? Nice.
With this scene with Reva like being right over Luke and just realizing in that moment that she was becoming Vader, you know, like she was becoming what she like hated, you know.
Became
I knew that moment was gonna come. And it worked.
She swore to destroy.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just brilliant, man.
It was really, great really character work. Yeah. Fantastic, actually. Thomas and Aiden, I think both of you guys were kind of against this happening, the idea of this happening last week.
Yeah,
but
Aiden, most cliche way.
They did it fine.
Sure, it was cliche, but the way they did it was good.
Yeah.
No, I still think it was written well. Stake thing possible because you have
was low stake.
You have the main character.
For her character.
You can't do that. You know what I mean? It's not like if they had this be like any of the people from the path, if they had it be anybody new that they've shown, if this was her own show and it was different characters, fine. But she's going against the one thing that can't be touched.
But I
mean, of course she's going to be fine.
Why would she? Why would she
in a
kill
meta
anyone
way?
Else than the Skywalker? Why would she attempt to kill any other kid?
Yeah,
right, exactly.
That's the one
to be fair,
To be fair, it just makes no sense for her to go after anyone else. That's who she
Anakin
saw, and that's who she went
off.
Yeah. Like also, that's the reason she was going after him. That's you know, and I do agree. There was no stakes and definitely anticlimactic, but I think what it did for Reva's character was perfect. I feel like she had a great conclusion. I think, and I think at the end of it, she was good.
She was a
well-written character.
I feel it would have been more impactful if she never did attack. Like if I was talking with Justin about this because I was trying to predict the episode, and what I thought they were gonna do was Obi was gonna sense it, go back, but Reva was never gonna do anything. She was gonna be sitting on that same hill where Obi was in the first episode and going like, what I thought what I was gonna do, blah 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 blah. I can't do this. And then she was going to leave. I didn't think she was going to just go and have more bouts of rage.
I think that would have worked just as well. Like we would have had the same outcome. We would have had the same conversation between her and Obi-Wan. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think they just handled it well. And like, it's not like it matters really. Like it didn't ruin anything. Like Luke was knocked out. He's not remembering shit from this night.
No, they just retconned Luke Skywalker. As a whole, pretty much to just retcon them.
But like it works.
He just ceased to exist.
Yeah,
and if she had her own show, she would have been a fine character. She's just I don't know why she was in this show, and if she had her own Inquisitor show and this is how they went, I would have been fine with it. But I
agree. But the way that her arc was handled overall, I think it was cool to see, and I think they handled it well. Like episodes 1 through 4, when I revisit the show, I'm going to look back on it entirely different, and I think I'm going to like her character a lot more in those episodes.
Yeah,
because starting with episode 5, I fucking loved her character. I loved what they did in that, but like I feel like it's just going to change the way I view her in those first 4 episodes, and I'm going to like it a lot more. I think she was a great character by the end of the show, and I want her to come back in something. Like I would be more than happy to see her come back in something, whether it's.
I'm good.
I saw a tweet
Justin, you said that
she should have a white lightsaber. What do you guys think about that?
I think she should have a yellow lightsaber and then announce that she's a Skywalker.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
I just don't care.
I could see that happening, unfortunately. Like, listen, I don't think she needs her own movie or show or anything where she's the main character. But if she comes back as a supporting character in something down the line, I'd be cool with it. Like, I feel like it'd be cool to see where her character goes next. Like, what she becomes now that she's, like, off of this path of revenge, you know?
If she's in Jedi Survivor, I'm not buying the game.
She's
going to take away from the new main villain that's supposed to be in it.
That has to be racist. That literally
no, because she's going to take away from the new main villain. And he looks so cool.
Tom's trying to get himself canceled. Jesus Christ. Bro.
Now,
Tom, this is now just hatred, bro.
I guess I'm canceled.
Now,
Moses Ingram can voice anyone else. She has a great voice for any other character. I'd be fine with that. I don't
How
care.
about just voice?
that was totally
Oh my
motivated.
God.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Now
All right.
I could see her being the new bro. I forgot the lady's name already. Oh my god, the
What, Trilla?
yeah.
Who was a
No,
more
no, no,
compelling
Who?
character?
No. Who was the Oh my god, I can't forget. I can't believe I forgot her name. Who was the
Seer.
No, the Empire lady from episode 5.
What are you talking?
Are you talking
Oh my
about
God.
the shit, I
The
know
new-
who you're talking
The
about.
new girl.
Tala.
The new girl.
Tala, yeah.
Tala. I could see
She
her.
was
Oh,
more
yeah.
interesting. She
But
was a good character.
I
Shame
could
she
see-
died, but
I
she had
could
a good
see-
sacrifice.
I could see Riva being the new Tala, where like she guides
Yeah, I can
Jedi.
see that.
Yeah, I
mean,
could see
that
her
could be
joining the
cool.
path.
Yeah, that could be cool.
I could see the
Yeah.
path getting its own show with
No, they're gonna
Ice Cube Jr.
attack her
as the
on
lead.
sight. They're gonna see
Yeah.
her. They're gonna be so scared.
True.
Yeah.
Ice Cube's son is gonna see her and just start. It's
He
gonna
had-
be
he
on
had-
sight.
I just want to quickly say, like, he had a couple. His time in this episode was great. I thought, like,
Yeah, he was
yeah,
fine.
how he said he's just getting started. Like, I feel like that was he had a good arc in this show, and I'd want to see more of him too. I would watch a Path show. Like, I feel like they low key hinted at the Path, like low key
Yeah.
That's
being
what I'm
Generation
saying.
1 of the Rebels. Like, I could see the Path like becoming like the Rebels, and maybe we'll see that in Andor a little bit. You know,
It'll.
That's
like I'd
what
like
I'm
to see
saying.
that.
Survivor.
That-
Jedi Survivor.
That's what I'm saying. This show, like this Obi-Wan show, was probably
Jedi
supposed to also
Survivor,
be an
yeah.
Inquisitor show
Mhm.
with Reva, who was supposed to be the main character, who was supposed to have her whole plot and then turn good, helping out the path. But some probably executive thing happened and merged the two stories. That's what
I
I'm
think-
saying.
I
If
think you're
Reva had
right.
her
Like,
own
I
show,
think
this
if-
could
I
have been
think-
very interesting. But because
also
it's
what they
Obi-Wan's,
do-
it bogs it down because you have two basically in a way
I
split
will agree with you.
stories
It often
that
took.
don't
I
mesh right. That's why I
I-
don't want her in Survivor
I
because she's gonna
agree with
steal
you
it
that
again.
Listen, I agree with you that it often took away the attention from Obi-Wan's story, which I didn't like in the first 4 episodes. But like by the time episode 5 came around and like everything was revealed and like everything was in place, and with this episode, I thought it like actually added to the story. Like there's no way of getting around that in episodes 1 through 4, like it was a little much how much they focused on Reva. Even though like I said, when I go back on those first 4 episodes, I'm going to view her character differently and probably like it a lot more. But like, I think that like her character in the end, like she did have a reason to be here, and like she did enhance the story, in my opinion.
Any of the other Inquisitors could have been the same thing to me. Which, you know what? I want to bring that up. I feel so sorry for Sung Kang, whoever Rupert Friend was the Grand Inquisitor, and whoever played the fourth sister. I feel so bad.
I mean,
for
at
them.
least they brought him back, the Grand
No, but
Inquisitor.
I-
Like I don't know
But
what
you
they.
know, no,
Sidelined.
I feel so bad, especially for the fourth sister person. She had probably
Yeah, she
that
had
poor
nothing
lady
to
had
do. She
probably
absolutely
one
nothing.
line of dialogue in the whole show and did absolutely nothing. What a shame! Like, you know what I mean? The girl.
Yeah, but
Wade's
like
friend
to be
did
fair,
more.
if like I mean they could have just been there like the Grand Inquisitor and I would have been fine with it. Like, but to be fair, if they had a bigger part to play in these last 2 episodes, it would have just felt bloated.
Right.
Remember when Reva became Grand Inquisitor and when she fought Vader?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I thought they were originally going to do.
They
and I
should have
thought
been
This
there.
would have been fantastic. Was instead of Vader attacking her, they would have been like in the operation, had overheard it, and then fourth sister, fifth brother would have been fighting Reva, doing their thing, and then the Grand Inquisitor was going to show up, and they were going to be like, "See, you meant nothing." Like, I thought that's how they were going to tie them in and actually have them be in the show. Because no offense, like you have Sung Kang there, why aren't you doing anything with him?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he's a decent name.
Look, you know what I could see happening? Like I'm not caught up in Rebels where his character shows up. Does he die in Rebels, Sun King? Fifth brother?
Do people care about spoilers here?
Just say it.
All right, sorry guys. Yeah,
He
Oh,
does?
man.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
let's say he
Oh,
does. sorry.
dude, Tom, what the hell?
See, I mean, I haven't said.
Listen, don't be mad at him. Be mad at me. I want.
Let me guess.
Because I was just about to. I was about to say like
Wait,
I could have
what's
seen.
your Dustin's prediction? For it?
Next, you're gonna tell me that Obi-Wan dies, bro. I mean,
He does.
Kidding me? Oh my god, I can't take
Rebels.
it anymore. I can't take it.
Next, you're gonna tell me they bring back the Emperor after episode 6, and like they
Which
give a
timeline
bullshit
do you
reason
want?
for it. Like, come on, bro.
Bro, next
Don't
you're
tell
gonna
me
tell me they
somehow
Don't be
fly
playing
now,
with my
bro.
don't be playing with me like this.
You're gonna tell me they fly now? Bro?
You're gonna tell me they
Oh,
fly
they
now?
fly
Come
now.
on. You're
I
gonna
don't
tell me
know
that
who they
Rey's a
is, but they fly
Skywalker?
now.
You're gonna tell me that Rey's a Palpatine and then she declares she's a Skywalker?
Come on,
Get the
bro.
fuck out of here.
You mean the
Come
fact
on.
that Rey's all the Jedi? Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Nah, there's no way they could do anything so stupid.
No.
Right?
I know, right?
Don't tell me this. Don't tell me this, Tom.
All right, I won't.
All right.
Anyway, though, what I was gonna say is that like I could
Yeah.
have seen if the answer was no there in Rebels. Like I could have seen
Mhm.
Reva having her own show and like in the path as a supporting character or whatever the fuck. And like seeing her go against Fifth Brother and the rest of the Inquisitors, like finally settle shit now that she's like on the path of good, kind of.
I don't
now,
know. I
on the
thought
path
of-
of the light.
Because the whole thing about the Inquisitors
That
being
could be
loyal,
cool.
because what I thought they could have done, and this could have been a neat little twist, was since every other Inquisitor is loyal to the Empire, and that's not like a Sith thing to be actually loyal unless you're Vader and you're depressed. Like, what would have been cool is if like they start having a coup on her. She's like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "Oh, we're taking a page out of your book. If this is the way you want to act, this is the way you're gonna get dealt with." You know what I mean? Like they're like, "Oh, if you don't care, then we're not gonna care, and we're gonna deal with you."
Right.
Like that's what I thought they were gonna do, and we were gonna get like just 18 helicopter lightsabers going around. They're gonna be doing flying. They're gonna be doing everything.
I was
Then, like,
disappointed
Rupert
that we
Friend was
didn't
gonna-
get any flying with the
Oh no!
helicopter
I think
lights.
I think I would have turned the TV off if I saw that in live
It
action.
would have been kind of cool. It would
I
have
would
been
have
cool.
just got up and got like whatever.
Like just
I was
once, it would have been cool if we saw it just like even once.
Yeah.
No, I could have seen it if they were just moving around, but not like actually like flying. I would have just been like,
Yeah,
this.
yeah, like in the fight, like in
Yeah, but you know, like if they were
Fly
actually
now.
like flying around like they do in Rebels, I would have been like, oh boy, this is
the difference between like that, like the stormtroopers flying in that moment in Rise of Skywalker and this is that they actually like they set this up and it doesn't feel ridiculous, you know.
and they do
Like,
fly now.
They do fly now. Like it doesn't feel ridiculous there. Just the way they did it was so fucking lazy.
Somehow
that
they
it
fly
just
now.
Felt ridiculous, bro.
Aiden doesn't.
But
know that.
I digress. I digress.
No.
Like, I don't know. I feel like we're on the verge of beating a dead horse here. Do we have anything more to say about the Reva stuff in this episode? We get it. Tom didn't like it.
I just wish she had her own show.
I think she.
really
I
do.
really think she was good.
I agree. I thought she was great, and Yeah.
I feel like these Disney Plus shows, like I'm gonna actually dip into Marvel a little bit here because I feel like they all had some sort of like side character that got hated on because it was like, oh my god, this is this person's show. Why are they trying to steal the spotlight? Because they're trying to, they're not doing a spin-off, so they're just gonna give them a bunch of screen time. But I feel like all of those characters in some way added like a little bit of a layer to the character. I feel like
Which shows?
I do agree with you, Tom, that I feel like it didn't have to be Reva. It could have been any other Inquisitor, but I feel like Reva, with the whole backstory is her, getting like watching all the, children die in Order 66 and then coming back and Obi-Wan being able to, tell her it isn't her and she doesn't want to go down the path that Anakin did. I feel like, it was a little bit of a redemption arc for Obi to be able to get that chance again. To say no, like you're not that, and I feel like it was really well done.
I totally
She's
agree
an
with what you said.
amazing character.
Yeah, I agreed. Like it was not only did she get her second chance, but like Obi-Wan also did, and I thought that added a lot to his character growth and progression throughout the series. Just like him seeing her like wanting to choose the path of the light and like him being able to help there, like the way he couldn't with Anakin. Yeah, I just thought it was great stuff. Like it was really powerful stuff, actually, in my opinion. But,
This is going to be a quick little bizarre side tangent because this just popped into my head because we were talking about it maybe a week and a half ago, Evan. But in a way, like in terms of like messing with like these legacy characters and this already established story, you and me have very different opinions about the new Jurassic movie that came out. you have the more me side of it, while I am more like
The difference there, Tom.
But
the
it's just very interesting.
Listen,
It's funny.
Listen. I don't want to get into Jurassic World right now.
No, yeah, I'm just saying.
The difference with that and this is that is a shit movie.
It wasn't
like unabashedly. It's a bad movie.
It wasn't, but okay.
You can have fun with it, yeah, for sure.
I thought it was
like, a good show.
It was one of the better sequels. Movie. I don't know. I don't know.
It was one of the better sequels. Listen, come on, bro. Locusts.
Listen, could they have been dragonflies?
Get the fuck out of here and take your Giganotosaurus with you, bro.
All right, I guess I'll take it with me. I thought it was okay. Listen, do I need to rewatch it again and again? No, but it was fine and I liked it. They did the old legacy characters, I think, better. Listen, maybe the story wasn't always there, but it wasn't changing too many canon except for the clone thing, but that was already stupid story.
God,
so
yeah, don't get me started.
But you know what I mean? That I'm just like, it's funny that we have very different opinions on, and it's kind of the reverse of what we have here.
Listen, I had fun with Jurassic World Dominion. This is the last thing I'm going to say about it because we got to get
back on track
here. I had fun with it. It was just a bad movie. Like, you can say what you will about Obi-Wan. It is a good show. Like, you might not like it, but it's a good show. Like, you can like Jurassic World Dominion. I like Jurassic World Dominion just for the stupid fun of it. Like, it's a bad movie.
To me, Obi is a member berries show.
Jurassic World is a member berry fucking trilogy, bro.
Jurassic Park is a member berries franchise. It has been since 97.
It is. So is Star Wars at this point, but like, and so is every other entertainment IP, bro. Every other entertainment IP franchise.
I guess.
But I digress. Let's get back on track. I don't know. One thing we haven't talked about yet is the Leia stuff in this episode, the goodbye. We all said last week that we wanted Leia to be taken care of within the first 5 minutes of this episode, and pretty much it was. And I was glad it was, but like, I was also really glad that we got that last scene. I was kind of, I would have been fine without it, but the fact that it was in it and it was as good as it was, like, it added so much, and I just loved it.
I've been scrolling through the episode as you guys have been talking about Jurassic World because like totally clocked out.
How good.
But I never saw Jurassic. I haven't seen any of the sequels actually. So
don't bother.
Me neither.
Don't bother.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
What?
I haven't seen any of the sequels.
What are those? I don't know what those are.
The Jurassic World movies.
The Star Wars movies. I was gonna say I don't know what the sequels are. Sorry.
Oh, those don't exist.
Oh
God, dude, I want to say that the goodbye was like the second best part of this episode, and I think I might say that that goodbye like hurt me to my core. I mean, when he's talking about her mother and father, and God, and will I ever see you again? Knowing that the next time they come into, did they ever meet in episode 4? I don't remember. I don't think they do, right?
I don't think so.
Sees them leave. That's why he has the smile on his face.
Right. Yeah. And then he just gets murked, right? That's the last time. Okay.
See, Evan, there's your moment. That's why I feel that works fine without this show.
That makes it even worse. Oh God, that hurts so much. But
I don't know, man. Like I teared up during this scene, and it's gonna make me tear up when I watch episode 4 again. Just thinking about it. Like you said, Justin, that whole moment where like he's telling Leia about the qualities that she got from Padme and the qualities she got from Anakin. That was like heartbreaking, honestly. Like,
and then to add a whole nother layer to it, the camera pans to Bale.
Yeah,
and I don't know the wife's name.
Brea.
And the camera focuses on them, showing that Leia doesn't only have one set of parents, she's got 2.
She's got her just like Owen and just like Owen and Beru.
Yeah,
like just like Owen said that like Luke is his kid, like Leia is just as much Bale and his wife's kid too, like like that was some good stuff from Owen, like in regards to Luke, like he loves and cares for this kid just like they do for Leia. And
can we be honest about Luke and just say like he doesn't really care about Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen?
You know, I mean,
no, I
looking
know.
back,
It's
yeah,
just so funny.
looking back at episode 4, you know,
Yeah,
I was rewatching
Luke's
it.
just a dick, bro. Until
No,
until
listen,
episode 6,
Luke,
until
Luke
like
feels bad, but he's like, you know what? I can see it as the way of just Luke feels bad, but he's like, all right, I really got to get my butt into gear now because
Yeah,
I'm
he
gonna
just
be
kinda, like-
Dex
that's like the
anyway.
hero.
It's just funny,
That's like the
you know?
moment where he knows that like he needs to go on the hero's journey. Like that's
But-
the
Yeah. Then he
that's
blows
the-
up a whole space station.
but
Kinda
the
like how
problem is,
Anakin
like-
killed Tusken Raiders.
that scene where like he sees the fire and everything, he just kind of shrugs his shoulders and then he's like, all right, I gotta go fight. Like he doesn't
He's
have-
mature about it.
yeah.
He's got to do his duty.
it's just that was a bad moment.
Oh no, it is funny.
It's so funny though. It's so funny.
He's a Luke is a fucking degenerate in A New
Yeah.
Hope. Like they
Yeah, no, he's whiny. He
Well,
sucks.
yeah,
It's
I mean-
great.
My brother, he's watching Star Wars like for the first time, like seriously watching it, you know, and kind of like taking it all in. And he said that he hates like episode 4 and 5. Not hates it, but he doesn't like it because he can't stand Luke Skywalker as a character. And then I tell him like, just wait till episode 6. And at the end of episode 6, he's like, Luke Skywalker is one of the best characters. You
For
know,
real.
I mean that episode
Didn't
6.
you say you loved Phantom Menace?
All right, well, he's got some hot takes that.
No,
you
that's what
know,
I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
Jar Jar the best character? Or Watto?
He hates Jar Jar. He
Talk
loves.
about stereotypes. Oh my
dude,
God.
I was so disappointed to see that Watto didn't
There
show
was
up.
no
in this show.
Watto in the show.
Oh yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
Dex in the show. What a shame.
There's no Dex.
Yeah, man.
Come
I don't
on.
think
Zero.
Qui-Gon-
0 out of 10.
I don't think Qui-Gon should have showed up. I think it should have been Dex because I think
Yeah.
Dex is a better
As a
character
Force Ghost.
than Qui-Gon. Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
You're going, what do you know?
yeah.
I
Can
mean,
we get a Dex show if we're running off nostalgia? Could we just get a Dex show? Just him doing his diner?
yeah, I would like that. I would like to see a sitcom set in that diner with Dex. I feel like it would be like Cheers in Star Wars. Cheers.
Oh
in
no, I
space.
wasn't even thinking of that. I was just thinking like, you know, like the lo-fi thing where it's just like that, like one animation that repeats over and over again. Just
Oh, yeah.
Dex's diner with him just at the back of the thing just for 2 hours. That would be the
Yeah.
best content they've ever put out. In general, like in life, that would be the best ever thing to come out.
Yeah. That and the Ewoks movies from the late 80s.
Yeah.
Those are also peak fiction right there.
And droids.
Yeah. All available on Disney Plus too. So like, I don't know.
All available. And Justin
we'll,
is no more. I don't know what happened, but he vanished.
He'll come back, I guess.
He decided to pull a Qui-Gon and Force ghosted out of here.
Let's
Never mind, he's back.
Sorry.
let's talk about Qui-Gon, I guess. That's like I feel like that's the one thing that we haven't really touched on yet. That like how did we feel about this? I was scared that he wasn't going to show up, to be honest, for a minute. Like
Yeah,
Oh,
they
no.
cut it close.
yeah, they really did. Like
I knew he had to be in it. I knew. he
Yes,
had to
so did I. But like the fact that he didn't show up during the fight, like when he was like under all the rocks and shit, like that scared me for a second.
be.
Like
That's
I
what
think,
I thought. Yeah, I thought he was gonna show up then.
yeah, but I think they handled it really well. Like, just it makes sense that like Obi-Wan, he basically cut himself off from the Force. He was like, he cut himself off from his religion, basically. Like, and he needed to like work back to become like worthy again of using the Force and like being able to see Qui-Gon. So like, it made sense when he said that. Like now he's just finally ready to see him, and that there's a lot more work for him to do, I guess, like over the next 10 years before A New Hope. Like I thought it was pretty perfect. Like it basically set up that like Obi-Wan isn't alone anymore. He's got his old master back, and he's gonna just learn the best ways to like protect Luke now, and to like be ready to train him in episode 4 in a way. So like I think it was like a perfect end to this story and for this iteration of Obi-Wan, you know, where in this phase of his life, you know. I thought it was perfect. What did you think, Aiden?
I loved the appearance. I did feel like it was awfully short, but I feel like
It was short but sweet.
to-
Exactly.
it was short but sweet, and they got it to the T. It was well done, and it was needed. And like you said, I love the whole concept of, you know, basically going back to his religion. He's back to where he's at, and you know, it helps us, you know, look into the future. I mean, we know what happens in the future, but I think it's still great to know that he's back in touch with the Force.
No, it's totally. Tom, what'd you think?
So they broke canon, but it's cool. that's all.
Yeah.
Wait, how exactly did they break canon in that moment? Like, I'm just curious. I
Because I don't think
wanna
Qui-Gon
spoil
ever
it for
perfects
Aiden.
it, right?
Wait, what?
I don't want to spoil it for Aiden if he's gonna watch Clone Wars.
I
I
will watch
mean-
Clone Wars, but you can talk about it.
All right. So
That'd be-
Qui-Gon didn't learn how to fully become one. He only had the voice part. So
I mean, maybe he learned in between. You know?
nah, I'm not about that
You
one.
don't know. You don't know.
He-
Tom's
I don't know
a-
about that one. No, that's okay.
Ah,
It's cool.
Whatever.
It was cool to see Liam again.
Yeah.
I had the idea that since he wasn't good,
I would have been perfectly content with just hearing his voice, but it was cool to see him.
Yeah.
What-
And the wig looked great. The wig
before
looked
the
really
show came out. What I thought they were gonna do was, since he wasn't, well, until now, a full Force ghost, was we were gonna see him in things of like clouds of smoke. We were gonna see him in like reflections of things, like pools of water. Like I thought they were gonna play with it so that we see him, but he's not technically there because he can't be, in a sense. Like they were gonna fool around with it to have him be there, but he's just there, so it's okay. You know what I mean? It's just, all right.
Yeah.
Like I thought they were gonna get like artistic with it and be like, oh, you know, like now Obi-Wan's like, you know, in a dire situation, he sees him in like a pane of glass. Or like he's
Right.
on Tatooine just in like the middle of wherever, and like the smoke billows up and you get like an, you know, like a CG animated like just smoke cloud of Qui-Gon like talking to Obi. You know, like stuff like that. Like where he's not fully there, but you know, he is in a sense.
Right.
I don't know. But he's there, so it's cool.
I don't know. I just think thematically it just works so well.
That's why, yeah,
Totally.
it's just yeah.
And how it's
They
like,
don't care about canon.
and how it immediately follows him meeting Luke. Like, I feel like it just with that and with between like the Leia moment, then the Luke moment, and then the Qui-Gon moment happening like consecutively.
Yeah.
It like just shows that like Obi-Wan is whole now, you know, like he's finally whole again, basically.
Obi-Wan's got his mythos drip too.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
got
that
his,
was great.
He's
Love
got his
that.
mythos statue drip.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
Sideshow's giving him royalties for his new costume.
I mean, probably.
yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah, but it still looks good. It looks good.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna cut his hair for the last scene. Like I thought we were gonna see him in
like
old,
the having the
episode three.
Alec Guinness look.
Yeah, like a
Uh,
mix of that in the episode 3.
I don't know. Maybe in season 2.
Oh boy.
What do you guys think? Do you think we're gonna get a season 2? They're talking about it. We know
I
they're
hope
talking
not.
about it. I really don't
think
want them
it's
to.
needed.
I don't think it's
Not
needed
needed.
either. It would be a cash grab.
I
Yeah.
don't think
This
so.
already was.
Yeah, but like a season 2 would definitely be.
That's why I
unjustified.
don't want no.
Like,
I-
what would even fucking happen?
I don't want any more character shows. Let Ahsoka do the last thing and then no more character shows. Have
I
it
could
be
do
all
some more
either
character
new
shows.
content or new characters within old things. Like, give me a show about like an Imperial soldier just living their life. Like maybe they change.
I would have watched the Tala show. The Tala show would have been cool.
Yeah, I would have been fine with
Yeah.
that. I would have.
I'd still watch that show if they want to do a. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I would have been fine with a Reva the Path show if she was an Inquisitor and this was her show. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, stop
yeah.
making shows of already made characters. That's why The Mandalorian works. That's why Book of Boba didn't really work. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's why Ahsoka is up in the air.
They
Andor's
just need
new
to
enough.
understand the character for it to work.
Yeah.
Like it
Right.
worked for this show because they understood Obi-Wan. It's what that's just
Yeah.
what I think. You can disagree if you want. But,
Yeah.
you know,
No, like Andor is new enough because it's their own property that it's like, all right, we can, you know, he's already ours. We can do whatever we want. There's no messing with him, you know,
Right.
like things like
Yeah.
that. Like Ahsoka, no one's gonna touch that besides Filoni. So if it messes up in a way, it's just his fault, which I don't know if that's gonna happen. We
Right.
hope
I mean, he
not,
knows how to write
you
his
know.
characters,
Yeah.
especially Ahsoka.
Like Boba was just not that great because it was just kind of a weird premise. I don't know. They have like a weird premise problem over going on at Lucasfilm with like characters that exist.
yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like we could see that fixed in the future, hopefully. But
That's what.
as of
Just
right
give
now,
me
yeah.
an Old Republic show. You people, you don't even need to be like a diehard fan. If you tell people that you're gonna get a show where 100 Jedi and 100 Sith just duke it out
Yeah.
with aliens and magic, are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah.
that would sell so much. You know what I mean? Like,
I
you
mean, we're
don't
gonna
even
get a
need-
High Republic show.
No,
we're
I
gonna get a
know,
High
but you
Republic
know
show. I feel like
what I
that's the
mean.
closest you're gonna get. I don't know if
Yeah.
we're gonna get an Old Republic show, but
I
like,
know.
we're gonna
but,
get a
like,
High
if
Republic one.
they're making the KOTOR remake. Like, if you're telling me they made that into a show, like, or the SWTOR, like the game, and you're telling people that they made that into a show, and like you just advertise that, you don't even need to know
Yeah.
what it is. I bet you people would be like, huh, a bunch of Luke Skywalkers fighting a bunch of Darth Vaders in, you know,
Mhm.
in knight armor with monster. You know what? Like, people would just be like, yeah, that's cool. I don't know. That's what I think, at least. That would just sell, but they don't want to capitalize on it. I don't know.
Maybe sometime in the future. Who knows? We'll see what happens with the Acolyte and other things like that. And like
I
they've got
hope
video
that's
games coming up, like the KOTOR
Yeah.
remake and
God, that better be good, or people gonna be
the
pissed.
High Republic game
Oh yeah.
from the
That, you mean the one that's never
makers
coming
of
out?
Detroit.
Oh, that one's never.
And
Yeah, that one's never coming out. Sorry.
it's gonna come out just
I
like
don't know
15
about
years
that.
from now.
Probably.
Yeah, when we're
I'm hyped for
37.
it. I'm hyped for it. Yeah.
I'm
We'll
pumped.
have kids
It'll
of
come
our
out
own.
just in time for. It'll come out just in time for the PS6. All right.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
And
but,
then
um,
for the Star Wars episode 20, 21, 22.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Just give me Dooku
we're gonna
content.
wrap up. We're gonna wrap up soon. But before we wrap up, I just want to hear all your guys' closing thoughts on the series as a whole. All right, Aiden, I want to start with you. What did you think of the series as a whole, and how would you rate it out of 10?
Well, I feel like I won't say it exceeded my expectations because I feel like my expectations were pretty high coming into it because I was like a very anticipated show. But I think I mean, there were definitely some lows, but the highs were very high. I'd say overall, I'd give it around 7.5 out of 10. Which is a fair rating. I feel like it was a very good show though.
I think that's fair as well. Like, I agree with you a lot. I would say that the show definitely met my expectations. I don't think it exceeded them. It came close, I think, but it didn't quite exceed them, but it definitely met them. It did everything I wanted it to do in the end. While I had problems with the first 4 episodes, like I've said multiple times, I think when I revisit the show at some point, I'm going to look at those episodes differently and like them a lot more. And I just think I'm going to like the show as a whole a lot better. But like just these last 2 episodes alone, they've done so much for me that I've wanted to see as a Star Wars fan for such a long time that like it just elevated the show as a whole for me, like to something like really great. So yeah, in the end, I would say I loved this show, but like I really, really liked it a lot. I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. Justin or Tom, whichever one of you wants to go next.
I
I
already
think
know
Justin
Tom's
should go
gonna say
first.
like a 4, whatever. So
Tom's gonna say
No,
2.
a 4 is
Yeah,
generous. He's
six.
gonna be in the negatives. He's gonna be in the negative.
Oh yeah. I had super high expectations coming into the show. Some of them were met pretty well. A lot of it really wasn't, but I guess that's my own fault. I think if we're talking from a writing standpoint and from a writing standpoint, I think it's like a solid 8.5. If we're talking about personal enjoyment, I gotta go with a 9.5. I think when it's really, really good, it was phenomenal. The bad moments did stand out, but I think the highs made up for it, personally. But in all, I'm going 8.5. I don't feel content giving it a 9 just because we've had some problems, but episode 5 and 6 are still 2 of my favorite episodes in all of Star Wars live action. So I'll definitely be watching that. Just whenever.
Like how Justin said 5-6, I'd have to give the show a 5-6. There were definitely moments
my
that were
God.
great.
Yeah, that blows my mind. I'm not gonna lie to you, Tom.
There were definitely moments that were great. There were moments that I genuinely hated. This is a story I was not a fan of, that had decent execution in some parts and other things that just ruined certain aspects of what I thought or what has been for me. Characters that have been around should get some comic series. Tala would be cool. Reva prequel would be pretty cool. Seeing her like scheming with all that, that could be a pretty neat story. Ruin Owen weren't in it enough. Young Luke wasn't in it enough. Poor Sung Kang and fourth sister.
Oh, I think young Luke was in it enough. Not to
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I mean, with what they gave him, oof. Let's see. That mean dude, he was in it for the perfect amount. You know, the one guy I'm talking about that shoved
Who?
people in line.
Wade,
That
the best
Reva.
character in the entire show.
Wade wasn't
Wade
in it
wasn't
enough.
enough.
He's
He
a spin-off.
deserves his own series.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wade.
He
Yeah,
needs a
Wade
spin-off.
needs a
at least
spin-off,
give him a
thanks.
comic series. Come on.
I think
honestly,
they
Home Veteran
confirmed
is
he's
still
getting
my
a whole
favorite
movie.
scene.
I think they confirmed he's getting a whole movie. So.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
I think-
God,
Let him
That's
give him.
great.
Just give Ryan Johnson a trilogy to make for him. All right. Give Ryan Johnson his
Oh,
trilogy.
yeah.
Have it be the Wade trilogy. All right.
Oh
There you
yeah.
go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch moments of this show because I'll be honest, I can count the 5 best moments on like the 5 best moments. The Anakin flashback, the clone deserter or the clone veteran, Aiden with half mask. What else?
Qui-Gon or goodbye scene.
Yeah, I'll take Qui-Gon. And I don't even want to count Palpatine that much because it really was like a mix of a throw-in kind of line, but I guess Palpatine. And the sad part is everything I basically listed was member berry stuff. You know what I mean? And the fight was good. I'll count that as the 6th. So basically 5, 6.
I mean, you had that scene in episode 3 where he sees like Hayden, Anakin in his.
I wish they
robe.
did more of that.
I wish they did more of that too.
Yeah,
that was cool.
I thought that was a really great scene.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good. I'll count fine. That's number 7.
Yeah.
So 7 scenes that were Oh no, there's 8. Obi-Wan seeing the ghost flashback thing of Anakin in episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
By the
That
time
was
Tom
fantastic.
finishes
I wanted
recalling
more things like
all these
that.
moments, he's like, you know what, this show's a 9.
Yeah,
No,
I was
yeah.
gonna say. I feel like we're
No, it's
seeing
a
some
perfect-
character growth here from Tom.
It's a perfect
Yeah.
average. It's a perfect average thing. I'll watch moments, but I don't need to watch this show again. It happened.
So
I put too much faith
So
in it.
what you're saying is you think it's mid.
It's mid-1. Literally mid-1.
Surprise, surprise, surprise,
No.
surprise.
Listen,
you're just
I put
wrong.
too much expectation in this. I think it's also the whole sequel problems of I've thought of what this story of what I would want it to be. Listen, if Rebels never happened, this could have been a Maul on Tatooine story. I don't know if it would have been good, old wounds, whatever. They did it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just what I thought this story could have been. It wasn't. And I'm just not happy with the story we got because I remember talking to Justin back when this show got confirmed, and I said like 2, 3 big things that I didn't want in this show. He doesn't fight or meet Vader. He doesn't leave, and he doesn't meet Leia. And what happened in the show?
Now, yeah, I just one last thing. I think the way that they handled the Vader fight, not only from a like fighting standpoint, but just like the writing was so brilliant.
It
like,
really was.
The dialogue, you know,
He's trying to make me say 7.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, you know, it
You're
makes
trying to make you
appreciate-
say 10, bro.
I'm trying to make you say 11, bro. It makes you
Exactly.
appreciate episode 4, like New Hope, more, just because, you know, when Obi-Wan calls Darth Vader like Darth, and you know, the way he says
Exactly.
goodbye Darth in this,
And he doesn't say
episode.
goodbye Anakin. Yeah, he just let
Yeah.
him go.
And then when Obi-Wan says like Vader killed your father, you know, it's true.
Makes sense.
From a certain point of
Yeah.
view, you know what I mean? Anakin said it. He's like, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did. It's such a great moment. I thought it was really good. I mean, obviously, I'm not as nitpicky as Tom. So
I don't think anyone is.
No, I don't. think anyone is, yeah.
I don't know, man. I always thought that just the Mustafar thing, it was so perfect of it. It was a grand ending. And this just feels like it bogs that down. Like, I just feel everything, like, it was just the perfect send off of that. And now you have this just trying to wedge itself in between.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel the same. Like it doesn't hold up to that.
I mean,
it doesn't hold a Mustafar candle up to it.
I know. I
Not
guess
much can though.
Yeah, not much could.
But that's what I'm saying. This didn't need to be this story, and that because of that, it just bogs it down because of what they decided to do. Listen, I will admit one of my favorite things, and this is going to be like really, I love seeing Jimmy Smith again. Like I like Bail Organa. I hope we see him in Andor in the Senate.
Cool.
You know what I
No,
mean?
we're gonna, yeah.
Like
yeah.
I always
He was
liked
in
him
the
as
trailer,
a character because he's just like a chill guy that like wants to do the right stuff but doesn't blow things up about it. You know.
True.
But like even then, he didn't need to be in this. Like, would one scene have been pretty neat? Like, let's say this was a show about Obi-Wan Tatooine the whole time. Would it have been a pretty neat scene? Like, if the first few, like 10 minutes or whatever, were like him and Leia and his wife doing just their thing, and maybe we find out that secretly over the years they've been kind of like hologram Skyping each other about X amount of things. Like, you can have Bale being like, all right, listen, this is what's been going on and blah, 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 you know, just keeping you updated. And then in the end of the show, he loses that comm. So then Leia has to do the thing in episode 4.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's the thing. That's how I just feel about this whole show. It's just, I don't know.
Okay.
You know,
I mean, I liked that overall. Like I didn't like the fucking plot device of him sending the message in last episode.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it worked. I just thought it worked. It wasn't one of my favorite things about the show. Sure, it was cool to see him, and I didn't think we needed to see him as much, but I think it worked.
That's what I'm saying. It would have been neat to just have him in, like, let's say, like, if this was a 6 episode of a different story, just have him in, like, the first 5-10 minutes. Or maybe even have him, like, telling Leia about how he served his father in the Clone War. There you go. You know what I mean? That's like all.
Nah.
Look,
I think it means a lot that I think it means a lot that Leia and Obi-Wan met.
Yeah.
Like they didn't need to be with each other as long as they were throughout this entire show. But overall, that was one of the best parts.
I mean, why? Yeah, why would Leia say you're our only hope, knowing if she never met him,
exactly,
not knowing anything about him?
Told her the stories of Obi-Wan, so that would be the last thing she would expect.
Yeah,
to be like, all right, this is the last thing we got is this guy my dad told me about.
It
this
means
is the
so much
only
more
hope that we have.
But it means so much more knowing that they spent this time together.
They have a relationship.
To me, it does. That's the thing. Just to me, it doesn't.
And you're just wrong. I mean, that's just so wrong.
All right, bully.
I'm just
bully alert. Bully alert. Canceled. Bully alert.
That's
toxic,
just so you can't.
Bully alert.
It's just
bully
so
alert.
wrong.
How
it's just wait, hold on. How can you tell me that like two characters spending time together does not enhance their relationship?
It doesn't need because they don't need one.
I mean,
not everything needs to be connected. They did this in that new book too. They had Anakin meet Cal.
Why?
Oh Jesus! But listen, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the books, though. All right, not everyone's
that's what I'm saying.
the books.
Why do they have to do this?
Tom, you can't even read. I don't know what you're talking
about. I don't know how to read.
Tom is really at third grade reading level.
I can't read.
I can't read.
Look,
the only word he knows how to read is mid.
Mid
is mid and
Reva bad and mid.
Yeah, Reva
bad. Dude, I'd love for her to get. Now that I think about it, I'd love for her to get a prequel series.
Okay, now you're absolutely lying. Now you're
no, I said it before.
And then once that prequel comes out, bro. Once that prequel comes out, Tom's gonna be on the podcast, bro. This is the worst show ever.
No, I didn't say a show.
This was not needed.
This was not. That would be fine. Dude, if anything, you guys were talking about
mid.
You guys were talking about a Vader show? Read the Marvel stuff. That should be a Vader show.
That's what we said.
Yeah, that's what we said
before.
Sorry.
Anyway, we gotta wrap up. We gotta wrap up. But like these, you heard it here. These were our thoughts on episode 6 of Obi-Wan. These were.
We gonna be back for Andor?
Yeah. So wait,
100%. I'm down if you guys are.
Yeah. Okay. One last question, just final thing, real quick. What next Star Wars project are you guys most excited for?
Andor. I'm excited for Andor.
What?
I am excited for Andor.
Oh, I'm not.
I think it
excited
could be
at all.
okay.
I'm
I
really
wanna see-
excited for Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah, but I'm
I'm-
just annoyed there's gonna be an Ahsoka episode just because
Oh
she
my
has so much
God.
stuff.
I just
Listen,
think
God,
Andor's
she's
here
getting
we
a
go.
whole
different.
show.
Andor's
Wow.
going to be a spy
Tom,
espionage
say something
thriller
positive.
set in the Star Wars universe. It's going to be cool.
No,
The
but we're
more-
getting Dooku stuff, so that's why I'm hyped.
The more Tom talks, the less I agree with him. It's insane.
Yeah, but that's been your whole life, relax.
Tom,
No,
say
it
something
hasn't.
positive about Star Wars Challenge. It's literally impossible.
Yeah, Tom's trying to say something
And that
positive.
show's gonna
For,
be hype.
Let's save that. Let's save that for next time. That'd be
I think
interesting to see though. But we'll
I'm
give
pumped
Tom
for
a few months
Ahsoka.
to think about it before fucking.
Aiden doesn't
Andor
know who
comes.
Gunji is yet, though, so I can't spoil it.
He'll
Oh,
get
true.
Best
there.
character,
True.
best character ever made.
Anyway,
You
this
know I'm
has
right.
been
True.
this has been Obi-Wan. We're currently in the midst of giving our thoughts and recaps of The Boys on Amazon Prime. Currently, it's season 3 of The Boys, so go check those out. We'll be back with another episode of that early next week, likely. But yeah, this has been Obi-Wan. Leave us your thoughts in the comments on whether you agree with Tom's ridiculous takes and just everything that he said. Let us know if you think he's mid, and we'll see. We'll see. We'll
Oh,
see
I
about,
know
we'll
I'm
see
mid.
about it. Yeah.
Tom is so mid.
Leave your thoughts on that and your thoughts on Obi-Wan, and we'll see you for what's next in Star Wars, I suppose. So thank you to you guys for coming on to talk about Obi-Wan with me. It's been great. We've had a lot of fun conversations. Yeah, it's been great. Thanks for coming along with me on this journey, guys.
Yeah, it's been fun, guys.
Thank
Fun.
you.
All right. That wraps us up. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.